All right, we are back. We absolutely wholeheartedly apologize for what happened there. We had some issues from the YouTube side of things in terms of the stream. Although we can see a couple of drivers have retired already, some of the drivers have pit for mediums here, and we are under a safety car. So something has happened in the first lap. Neon and Sai Tarun have had collisions, and perhaps they've collided with each other. Hence, why they have had. They are out of this race. I did see Fuzzy Dunlop did get a drive through, so perhaps he was involved in a bit of it as well. Like Mike is now joined us as well. I believe he is the number 72 Red Bull that Fuzzy Dunlop had a bit of a collision with. Eric Griffin, who's retired, has joined us back. Dark Knight is in the lead of the race, but can we quickly have a look at the... Okay, we are looking at the stops. So by the looks of it, top 7 have not pit yet, while the rest of them have pit. So Karthik Sabanikar currently in net P1, 2, Mr. Raut in net P3, Satvik in net P4, and Envy is now right behind, almost right behind these Aston Martin boys. So they have a lot of work to do to cut across the field, because I do believe they are on mediums right now. So we will have to do a lot of work to get across the field, as I said, and it will be somewhat of a challenge as the guys ahead do have fresh tires. We only had about half a lap of racing, and since they are all on softs, I believe, can we quickly look at the tire data? Oh, they're not all on softs. A few of them are on softs, but the others are on mediums. It's not going to be that much of a difference in terms of tire wear, so the tires are still in a very, very optimal state right now. Starmax, I believe you're with us here.
Yes. This is going to be interesting. While you said Karthik and Ink are net P1, P2, we'll have to see how that works out, because after a few laps, if there's another safety car, that is going to completely ruin Karthik and Ink's so-called strategy, because it'll be a cheap stop for Dark Knight as well.
Yep, and a safety car is going in this lap, and of course I said it considering there's no any further safety cars as such after this point, that there is no guarantee. So we'll have to see. And that's Eric Griffin, who is the back of Dark Knight. Someone's getting a time penalty there. Dark Knight goes now, has a decent start. So Eric Griffin's right behind him. Eric Griffin is on the mediums, Dark Knight is on the softs. So there's already yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. Satvik has retired, and there's a bit of chaos ensuing already. Although I don't think there'll be a safety car. Mr. Raut has been left behind as well, so I think he was involved in the incident. Ink is past Rajesh, and sort of Pat is having a bit of collision with Eric Griffin, although I think Eric Griffin is desync. Eric Griffin is desynced, and that could be absolutely crucial for them, because he could cause some issues. And Eric Griffin's having a bit of tire banging with sort of Pat, because of that loses out the position to Inder Des as well, and he's going side by side with Inder Des through these very tight corners. Now they're making it 3 wide. Mighty Owl has to back out though. Karthik sir is right behind Mighty Owl. Mighty Owl will have to do a lot of defending here to make sure Inder Des can stay in P3, and we can see Eric Griffin is causing a lot of issues. I think Eric Griffin will have to leave this race and then rejoin. He is massively desynced, and he could cause some unnecessary collisions here and make the already quite a long race even longer. Karthik sir is now going side by side with sort of Pat. Apologies, that is Mighty Owl, and they're still fighting it out, although he makes the move around the outside and he's past. Eric Griffin makes a mistake. Sort of Pat is past Eric Griffin finally, and that's Eric Griffin who hits Sort of Pat. Sort of Pat has lost a lot of positions, and they've had some sort of a collision there, and Eric Griffin is doing absolutely whatever he can, be it legal or illegal, to be in that P4 position, and I'm not sure what's going on. I think that is the effect of some desync, because he did have almost mounted the ball back there.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on with Eric Griffin, man.
Eric Griffin will have to leave and then join back, because he's causing some unnecessary collisions here, and Yeah, we can see there's a bit of yellow flags. Ink is struggling now. He's compared to his teammate Karthik is already up into P3, whereas Ink is still stuck with this mid pack. And that's Eric Griffin who's lost a wing. Yeah, he's going to be a bit of a hindrance here because there's a massive train of cars behind him. That's Ink who's making a move down the inside of Turbo Chook. Turbo Chook gets slight trapped by Ink over there. Although he
That was a good move.
It does not go back. Yep, that was a very, very good move from Ink. Eric Griffin might going side by side. I think Eric Griffin should just give up on that position. He does not have a wing at all. He should stop fighting and let the drivers behind by, because if anything, they will be reporting if there's any more collisions. And that's Turbo Chook who's lost a bit of an end plate as well. And essentially, a lot of chaos is happening here. Mighty Owl has lost a wing as well, so that's Ink up into P4. Basically, he's going to make a move around the outside here. No, Mighty Owl is still fighting him. He's not going to give the position, although because of him not having the wing, he understeers off, and he has to eventually let him by as Rajesh has spun, and he's down into P10. Karthik Sub is right on the back of Inder Des, and he's going to be trying to make a move on Inder Des. He's fairly close to Dark Knight as well. DRS does get enabled this lap. I think he'll be setting the fastest lap of the race. He does. Karthik Sub does set the fastest lap of this race, and he's doing fairly well for himself. And he will be, I think, comfortably making a move on Inder Des here.
Yeah, it has been a good comeback from Karthik Sab to complete a pit stop and be, I think, P7 and up to P3 within a couple of laps.
Yep, definitely Karthik Sab showing what he can do, and now he is sending it down the inside of Inder Des, and he is ahead of Inder Des. There's a bit of yellow flags in the back. Mighty All got 5 seconds of speeding in the pit lane, and there's a bunch of cars in the pits. Like my gets for 5 seconds. Is it? Oh, there's 3 seconds. Apologies for multiple warnings. So he's crossed the track limits one too many times here, I believe. Still a bit of decent going on somewhere.
Main battle right now is Inder Des and Karthik Sab, but I don't think it's going to be a battle anymore because Karthik Sab is just going to pull away quite easily.
Yeah, he has left Inder Des behind by about a second and a half already, and his next challenge would be getting past Dark Knight. And let's not forget, Dark Knight is a very, very good defender, although he does not have that tire advantage with him. And that's the championship standings. A very, very quick, brief look at it, in case for the guys wondering what the current championship standings are looking like before, of course, this race. Yellow flags in sector 2. I'm not sure who that is. That, by the looks of it, is Red Bull. That's like Mike has made a mistake, although I don't think there will be a safety car. There's still yellow flags taking a while to clear up. Karthik Sab, however, has already reeled in about a second to Dark Knight, and Deepak, can we quickly get rid of the gaps telemetry, please, on the bottom of the screen? Thank you. Envy sets the fastest lap of the race so far. Envy is in P5, so he's already putting in that challenge to these drivers. Of course, he had a pretty bad restart, as we could see. Although he has done well for himself, he's up into P5 already. Mr. Raut gets multiple warnings as well, so these drivers are starting to rack up penalties. We're only 7 laps in though. Takes a fair while to get around this circuit. Eric Griffin as well now gets a 3-second time penalty. So yeah, everyone's just starting to rack up penalties over penalties, and at the end of the day, it could essentially come down to who wins the race, perhaps because of penalties.
Well said. Let's see how good of a defending job can Dark Knight do.
Yeah, by the looks of it, Dark Knight's holding out fairly well so far. Karthik has a bit of contact with Dark Knight on the rear end, although no wings broken here because it was a fairly light contact. Yellow flags in sector 2, that's for Vinay, who spun, and here comes Karthik Sab, though he has the DRS, whereas Dark Knight, of course, does not, although I think he's too far back to make a move. Yep, he is. His next overtaking opportunity is the straight that's coming right after this one. which is over here. Will he take the opportunity? No, he does not. He's just slightly too far back for it. Envy says the fastest lap of the race. Still yellow flags in sector 3 for Vinay. Although this is a massive overtaking opportunity, he is closing in by a lot. Now they're going side by side, and I think Karthik Subs cleared Dark Knight fairly easily.
I think Dark Knight doesn't have the tires to fight it anymore.
His tires will be dead at this point. The softs, they last 5 laps at the very, very max here at Singapore. And they've got Eric Griffin's now retired from this race. Will that be a safety car? Deadshot has lost his wing. That is a safety car.
Interesting. Should Karthik Sub pit again or no?
That car is right in the middle of the track. I'm not sure if you noticed that actually.
Yeah.
That is a very weird thing for the car to be not ghosted in the middle of the track. That could have caused some collisions. Although luckily our drivers are very well aware.
I think when the car is retired and it's there, it's by looks it's not ghosted, but you can just go through it, I think.
I've had experiences where it looked as if it was not ghosted. Apologies, as if it looked as if it was ghosted, and I went through it and I retired from that race. Although luckily it was only in 5 laps, so I don't trust this game at all. Anyways, coming back to the actual race itself, Dark Knight's going to benefit a lot from pitting here. So will Indrades, and so will essentially everyone else who has not pit yet. Although I think everyone's pit except for Dark Knight and Indrades, so it's going to be a decent thing. I think their best call would be to go on to mediums. Drive through for Mr. Rahut for speeding under the safety car.
You can't serve there until the safety car comes in, finishes one whole lap. So that is going to definitely hinder his race by a large margin.
Yep, and Fuzzy Dunlop has completely broken his wing as well. And driver is just taking in a very cautious line into the actual pit entry itself. As if you're not here at the beginning of this stream, then we did mention that we have had like a technical directive, I guess you could call it, saying where you have to be within the lines of the pit entry, and if you do cross it without any reasons, you are not allowed to re-enter and you will have to go around for 1 lap. And which means that the game will give you a warning for cutting the track. That is also a punishment in itself. And anyone, of course, found guilty of doing not going back, going around the track for 1 more lap will, of course, be penalized. Tell you what, Starmax, I think Envy is in a very, very good position here to win. Because he is definitely in P3. He's caught up to the Aston Martin boys fairly quickly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't notice that at all.
Now you have.
Yep.
Well, I don't think it's going to be that much of an easy task to do, because we have seen Ink is a very, very good team player. He's a very, very good defender. And, you know, he's essentially going to let Karthik Sub run by as quickly as possible, which will instead put Dark Knight as well as Indrades, who are just behind Envy, in contention for that P3. And we see what happened in Monza when Envy was put under pressure by about 2 or 3 drivers continuously. He made a lot of mistakes and he just lost out on a fairly easy win for himself. And yeah, so that could be happen here again. And remember, in Monza we have a lot of runoffs, so the max you're going to get is perhaps a time penalty for across the track, or a broken wing at the very, very max. Over here though, you have a larger penalty, and that is retiring. And the last thing you want when you're in the championship battle in the second half of it, when you only have about 4 rounds or 3 rounds left, is to retire from a race, because that is potentially 30 points you lose on not winning the race.
I mean, I think we saw in Monza how Ink can defend very, very well against Envy, so if he can defend in Monza, it should be a far more easy job to defend here.
Yep. Definitely, considering that you basically cannot pass in a lot of places on this track. You only have about 3 straights in sector 1 to make that move, and even those 3 straights are followed by, of course, very, very tricky off-camber corners. So you have to ensure that you absolutely nail them and get the power down at the exact time, and get the power down fairly quickly as well. Although it is of course not as easy as it sounds like, so that will put a bit of a challenge for these drivers. Of course, we're only 10 laps in. We have 21 more laps to go, and we do again apologize for the earlier delays and for the duration of how long this race is going to go for. We're looking at an estimate another about 30 or so minutes left without any safety cars. So I really do apologize for the duration of how long this has gone on for. But although, of course, not to forget, we do have very, very interesting racing. So we could see, those 21 laps go by very, very quickly if we are entertained like we have been throughout the season by these boys.
Yep. It is definitely an action-packed tier. That's the least you could say about it.
Definitely. And
so, you continue.
go on. No,
So
go
you
on,
can
Sarkis.
see-
I didn't have anything important.
You see, Mr. Rawat has a drive-through, so that's gonna be very, very. It's gonna annoy him a lot because he can't serve it under the safety car. He has to wait for the safety car to go in, then do a lap without the safety car. So after the safety car has gone in and the race is started, he has to do a lap, and at the end of that lap, then only he can come into pit.
He will
that-
be last by a large margin for sure.
And the pit lane is relatively short, but it being 60 kilometers an hour definitely doesn't help.
Yeah. That could essentially put Mr. Raut in a very, very bad position. Although his teammate Turbochuk was right behind him, well, I guess they could, since he does have 3 laps to serve it after the safety car goes in, he doesn't have to serve it immediately the lap after. He has 3 laps to serve it. What they essentially could do is hope that, nothing goes wrong for the both of them, and Turbochuk could use Mr. Raut, or Mr. Raut could use Turbochuk, hold off the drivers behind him to create that gap where Mr. Raut runs away. And so when he does serve the drive-thru at the end of the day and comes out, he'll be behind by them by a smaller margin than by not doing over defensive masterclass, I guess.
Well, if he decides to do that, he can take advantage of the fact that he has 3 laps to serve a drive-through once the safety car goes in. So if they do decide to do that kind of thing, then maybe you can tell Turbochuk to hold them up for 3 laps, and if he does hold them up, it could save him a lot of time.
That is true. Although we'll have to see how that goes through for them, because that also, of course, relies on there being no further safety cars, as well as there being their front wings attached to their car and not scattered across track, as safety car will be going in this lap. You can see 3 Aston Martins in the lead, because the Aston Martin safety car itself, followed by Karthik Sabanik, who are also in the Aston Martin. So for a brief period, it was after Aston Martin 1, 2 and 3. Now the safety car is going in, so it's going to be Aston Martin 1 and 2 only.
You and your dad jokes.
Anyways, let's stay focused on Karthik Sab, and let's see, when will he go? He can go right after this corner. Will he go after this corner? No, he does not. He's taking
I think Ink
he's going to go at the last lap.
Yeah, I think both of them
Ink
will
is
definitely-
doing exactly that, and Karthik Sab has gone. Ink has gotten a decent reset, although his main job would be here to defend off from Envy. Envy, who's had a pretty decent start himself. Dark Knight right on the back of Mr. Raut, who's spun out now. And yeah, we have essentially cursed Mr. Raut as well, because he was supposed to serve the drive-thru and he'll be far, far behind anyone else. We can see Dark Knight putting that pressure on Envy. Dark Knight, of course, has 6 or 7 lap fresher tires compared to Envy. So Dark Knight has a lot of pace advantage compared to the drivers ahead. And he is already trying to attack Envy. I'm not sure which corner it is. But yeah, he's just too far back, slightly too far back to go in and make a move there. Although it is going to slightly help him because Envy is catching up to Ink, and we know Ink is very very good at defense. And we can see that shot. Envy's teammate, he's struggling slightly, was a bit squabbly on the exit over there, and coming back to the top 4 fight, apologies. That Envy using up all of the track to try and catch up to Ink, trying to put him on, under different lanes, under different pressures, so that Envy could somehow slip past, because he knows that Darknet and Ink is right behind him on much fresher tires.
Yeah, this is Envy's best chance to attack and get past Ink, because the longer he stays behind Ink, the further Karthik sub runs away, which lowers his chances and Envy's chances of catching up to Karthik sub.
Not only that, it increases the chances of Darknet and Indra getting past him.
Envy
coming into the final corner, Envy is right on the back of Ink. Ink has taken the defensive inside line, although this straight is not really long enough that even if you're about 2 turns behind, you really can't pass. So, especially without DRS, you definitely can't pass here. So his realistic next overtaking opportunity would be right after this corner on this long straight with a slight kink in the middle of it. He gets a very good exit compared to Ink. Ink is going on the defensive line. He's using up all of his ERS. Envy is using up his ERS. Who will be ahead going through this corner? Envy is not ahead because Ink is doing the best he can to defend off, and that's just bringing Darknet closer and closer in to Envy, and Ink is doing the absolute defensive masterclass that he is taking inspiration from Sergio Perez, I guess you could say.
Yep, definitely. That was very, very sketchy though. They were going side by side and we pushed him off. Then Ink, you could say, rejoined the track off while being off the track. It's a very sticky situation, but I think everything should be fine because after all, Envy clearly pushed him off the track.
Yep, and if anything, Ink has the right to report him. And you can see Mr. Raut, 40 seconds behind everyone, has spun. It's not going to help him out either at the end of the day. And this is going to actually put another big nail into the coffin for him in terms of this race, although he's still going to score points because you do have points for the top 15. Envy yet again right onto the back of Ink. Now he's much closer though, right onto the rear wing of Ink. And Ink essentially has to do something out of the final corner to make sure Envy just cannot pass him. And he will essentially have to save a lot for DRS because he is going to have DRS enabled this lap. Ink does have a slightly messy exit of the final corner, although we've never seen anyone use that line. I've first time seen Ink using it, and it's turned out to be the best line he could take through there because he got a very, very good exit out of that final corner, and we can still see the momentum carries through as Ink is still ahead by a decent margin, although Envy is going to have DRS. So Envy is going to use his DRS, the slipstream from Ink is going to try and get past him. He's running out of straight though. He's not close enough. Will Darknet send it? No, he does not either. Envy is still stuck behind Ink, and we're only about half of the race distance completed so far. Dark Knight now trying to set up Envy for a move, although he does make a slight mistake there and gets a pretty poor exit. And Envy makes a mistake now and gets a pretty bad exit, although Darknet wasn't close enough to crunch in onto that. And Ink will be slightly delighted, although Ink is using up a lot of his ERS by now.
Yeah, Envy's tried to throw everything he has at Ink, while Ink is defending very, very well. That is definitely starting to get on Envy's nerves, as you saw that right before the Singapore swing, where Envy almost lost the car and almost lost the position to Dark Knight as well.
Mr. Out gets another 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. He is quite far back though. He will be lapped while he's still in the pits. And we can see Dark Knight is just waiting for something to happen in front of him so that he can get past Envy as well as Ink. And we can see the gap is basically being the same. Can we quickly go on boarding to check his ERS as well while we're at it? They're on the same level of ERS. Ink is doing this completely on raw pace. He's taken the same line. Although Envy has copied him, he's got a much better exit. He has DRS. He's using up his ERS. And he's going to fly past Ink over here. Ink though, come back in the next set of corners. Oh no, that is Mr. Raut who's in the way. And he came out of the pits and he's already lost his win.
Hard to say that.
Yep, and we can see now Ink using up his ERS. Envy's pulled away already half a second. Dark Knight's right behind these guys. Ink is not able to close in onto Envy just yet. And we can see sort of lapping Mr. Raut. Mr. Raut does not have a wing coming out of the pits. And Dark Knight is essentially now waiting to pounce onto Ink as soon as possible.
I have to say, I think Ink didn't expect Envy to be so close to him because he didn't even deploy his ERS to defend. I think he just didn't expect Envy to overtake him then and there.
And I don't think he's expecting Dark Knight to overtake him either, because by the looks of it, he's lost a lot of pace. Dark Knight, on the other hand, is using up a decent amount of his ERS to get too close to Ink. Now they're going side by side. Not sure what corner it is. And Dark Knight is past Ink. Oh no, Ink gets a much better exit from there. It's a switchback line and he's ahead yet again.
Yeah, that's probably good defending by Ink. I think Ink definitely has a tire disadvantage by about 6-7 laps. A Dark Knight should clear him soon so that he doesn't lose his tire advantage.
That is true, because Inner Race has caught up by a lot as well, and now this has turned into a fight for P3 while Envy charges down to catch up to those 4 seconds while he is behind Karthik Sub. Dark Knight is now using up whatever he has to stay with Ink, and we can see Inner Race has already used up basically everything to stay with Dark Knight and Ink, although I believe he shouldn't have really done that because they are losing a lot of time by fighting here.
Sector 3 yellow flags. What could have happened?
Believe it is Mr. Raut yet again. Dark Knight with the DRS and the ERS has forced him to go around the outside. Oh, and there's a bit of contact going through there. Ink pushes Dark Knight off wide. Dark Knight still has the inside line though. Ink will be pushed off wide here. No, they're still going side by side. A lot of respect being given to each other right now. Dark Knight tries to go for the switchback line. Does work for him. Now they're side by side. I think Dark Knight is ahead. But not by a lot though. He clears off Ink. Now Inder this will be putting pressure on Ink very shortly, because Inder this does yet again have that 6-7 lap tire advantage.
I think Ink tried to break late into the corner and Dark Knight just took the racing line since he was on the outside. And Ink just didn't break earlier than him because he's on the inside. He's technically supposed to break earlier to make the corner. So I think that's why there's a slight bit of contact right there.
Could have definitely been what happened. Although Ink, I think, will be regretting that decision because Inder this is now right on on his diffuser.
Yeah, I think Ink has received damage after that one.
Don't think so. No, he does not have. Oh, he does have slight damage on his right hand side.
Is it lime in color? Because I can't see it.
It is, yes.
I am surprised he's not pitting because he's definitely going to lose a lot more time.
I think his front wing end plate got chipped off slightly, like very slightly, and that does cost you a lot of downforce here. So no wonder Ink is struggling. I just hope there's another safety car because that can definitely save Ink's race. Because by the looks of it right now, it's not. I mean, Ink did a very good defensive job in terms of keeping Envy behind, but the second Envy got past, we can see he's already closing half a second within a lap. So if Envy continues at this pace, he's going to win the race yet again.
Yeah, it is a fight for Envy, but I think there's still going to be some pit stop strategies because I don't think they're going to finish. There's no way they finish on these tires, is there?
That definitely can't be.
Exactly, so Karthik Sub needs to make sure he doesn't get undercut by any chance.
That is true. I think the last stint will be on a pair of softs.
Really?
About the last 10 or so laps, because that is how realistically long they could go, because these guys pit at lap 10 or so, and considering that the mediums can definitely not go 21 laps, their optimum tire range is about 13 to 14 laps. So I mean, them pushing it past it would just be suicide to their race. So they will have to at some point, and I'm pretty sure it will be for softs.
I have a feeling it'll be for mediums because there's some people who pitted very early in the race, like Karthik Sub and Ink. They pitted way earlier.
If that
I
is
think
the case, then you will have to pit earlier than the rest because Dark Knight and Ender is yet again not to forget they pit much later than them, about 6 or 7 laps later. So
mm,
they have a massive tire advantage anyways. And if they go into the softs like much later compared to them, because there could be a chance they don't come out in traffic, absolutely be decent shot for the podium for them. You can see on the other hand though, sort of Pat is trying to make a move on Ink now. Ink again, yet again showing that he can defend very, very well. And unfortunately he's down into P5 and that's like Mike who's retired. Will that be a safety car? No, he's retired in the pits.
okay.
He was worried for a second, but he has retired in the pits.
Yeah.
Because then everyone would have basically gone into softs. Anyways, sort of Pat trying time and time, corner after corner again to get past Ink as quickly as possible. And he's just struggling slightly. There's yellow flag in sector 1, 2 and 3. It's not a safety car, it's just yellow flags and it's clear now.
It's a common glitch in 2021 where it just gives you yellow flags.
Oh, yes, I have just realized it is Envy. Envy has not enabled his telemetry, but I think he has a damaged wing because of the way he's understeering. Yeah, that's the end plate gone.
Left end plate.
Left end plate. He's pitting for softs. He's going to pit for softs, of course. That's Envy's race, basically ruined. Dark Knight up into P2. Ender this up into P3.
Ink. Sarapet still staring at the back of Ink. Man, feels bad.
Yep, this is like if you remember back from the actual 2021 season where Lewis Hamilton was stuck behind a McLaren. I believe Daniel Ricciardo just could not get past regardless of what he tried despite having the much faster car. This is what's happening right now. Although by the looks of it, our Lewis Hamilton, sort of Pat, is going for a move on Ink. And no, Ink just blocks him off yet again.
Wait. Are you talking about Hamilton and Alonso or Hamilton and Ricciardo?
And it was a McLaren, I know that because the McLaren had the best straight line last year.
Okay,
could have been Ricciardo, from what I remember. Could be Ricciardo, perhaps could be Lando.
Which track?
Wherever the McLaren was good.
Okay.
I do remember it happening and sort of Pat hits the back of Ink. But yeah, I do remember it happening. I'm just not sure which track. But yeah, I know it happened. So
I think at most should have been Russia. I can't remember.
I think it was Russia, yes. Hamilton could not get past Lando Norris before Lando Norris, of course, showed what he's truly capable of by going off wide, not pitting hearts.
Not pitting for Inters.
Not pitting for Inters, apologies. But yeah, we can see Ink still struggling. Karthik Sub is now pit. That was basically expected. His tires are 17 laps old.
Yeah, he's definitely
He's
going
also pulling off
into
into the pits. Sort of Pat and Dark Knight though there, and in the race as well. They're kind of set for now because they can pit a lap or two later because these guys will be coming out in traffic. Yeah, of course, go on to the softs. But the sub's gone on to the mediums.
He
He's also
definitely
going
has
on to
to.
the mediums.
You can't do 11 laps in softs.
You can try.
You can try, but I doubt it'll pay off, especially in Singapore where the tire wear is so high and grip is just so important.
That is also true. Deadshot gets 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. His teammate Envy on the other hand does not, and Deadshot's gone on to hards.
Huh. I guess we never truly lost Jeff in his masterclasses.
Or it could have been a misclick by Deadshot. Could be. I have to say, let's not blame Jeff here because Mark is much worse.
And we already half a second up on the fastest lap just in the first sector.
Yep, he is getting held up by Mighty Owl, though won't be anymore because he has that tire advantage. Well, he is getting held up by Mighty Owl, not anymore. He is past Mighty Owl who's on 10 lap old hard, so no wonder he's struggling. Especially compared to, someone like Envy, who's of course much faster than Mighty Owl and also on much fresher tires. think it would be an optimal window for the Dark Knight in the Descent Surf Pack to pit for now before these guys make up any more grounds, although by the looks of it, they are not yet pitting. I think they're going to go out for another lap, or they could be just waiting on a safety car to come out, because that would mean absolute bliss for them, because they lose out, they lose out on no positions. And ooh, that's Fuzzy Dunlop, who had a bit of a moment there, and Karthik Sub just barely getting past him.
That was definitely a code brown moment for Karthik Sub.
And yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. It's not Envy, it's his teammate Deadshot. Has kept it intact, don't know wings out. He's still going. And he gets a 3-second time penalty. Yup, that is a time penalty for Deadshot. And TurboChook has now pit finally after staying on those mediums for 14 laps. He'll be going on to another pair of mediums. And I think the top 3 should pit at the end of this lap if they want to try and challenge for the podium, because they do have a decent amount of gap behind them.
I think they can go a couple, 2-3 laps more longer and straight go to the softs. Because if they go to the softs now, it'll be a bit sketchy near the end, because these guys, you have to remember, pitted like 6 laps later, or 5 or 6 laps later than Karthik and Ink, who pitted only 2 laps ago now for their new mediums.
Yup, and Ink has cleared a Mighty Owl as well. So I'm guessing it could work out, but then again, you have to remember these guys are chipping in a lot of lap time compared to them lap after lap, and we can see Karthik Sub is already quite close to the top 3. He's right behind Sort of Pad. Sort of Pad doing everything he can to defend off from Karthik Sub to make sure that his teammate Dark Knight at the end of the day gains a lot more time. So, I mean, it is quite crucial for Karthik Sub to get past Sort of Pat, and he does get past Sort of Pat. Sort of Pat can't really do much on those all ties, and this is why Star Max, they should have pit at the end of this lap. Previous lap, actually, sorry.
True, but I think if they pitted, they would have they would have been forced to go into the mediums.
There's yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. That's Deadshot yet again. No safety car.
Fastest first sector for Karthik Sub, 3 tenths, almost 4 tenths up. And the fastest lap.
This lap was set by Envy, I think it was. So he's doing decently. He will get the fastest lap point as well. I think it is crucial for Dark Knight and Inder this to pit by now, so that they don't have as much time loss. They do decide to stick out till the soft time, basically, because we did see that was a lot of time loss. I mean, in the matter of the lap, Saurabh Pat is already 3 seconds behind Karthik Sub, just based on that tire advantage. So it is very, very crucial that they do pit at the end of this lap. And if you are looking at the mini-map on the bottom right-hand side, we can see Dark Knight is just coming the corner before the pit entry. The question is, does he pit? Will he pit now? And no, Dark Knight is staying out. Will Inder Des pit? Inder Des is pitting. Inder Des is pitting. This could work out for Inder Des at the end of the day. Star Max. Star Max is not here. So yeah, it's just myself now. There's of course he's pit. Can we look at the tire delta to see what tires he's gone on to? This has gone on to the softs, so he's deciding to finish this race on the softs. I think Dark Knight could come out just ahead of Fuzzy Dunlop. Envy is past Fuzzy Dunlop, so that essentially solidifies my statement even more. He will, if he pits, he will come out ahead of Fuzzy Dunlop, and he will have to pit at the end of this lap to minimize the time loss. And Rajesh is going into the pits now, very, very cautious into the pits. He's making sure he does not make any mistakes because of of course, the technical directive we mentioned earlier on. Mighty Owl finally pits as well after 13 laps on those halves. He's gone onto the softs. I think anyone who's going to pit now is going onto the softs. And yeah, Dark Knight is still staying out. I'm not sure why he has decided to do so. He will... Yeah, look at those. Those tires are orange on the right hand side, and well, they are orange throughout. It's just a darker orange on the right hand side. So it is very, very crucial that he pits at the end of this lap. Will he pit? He is pitting. He is pitting. I'm guessing he will be going on to softs. He will come out. Can we have the gap to the leader really quickly, please? Never mind, I think he'll be coming out just ahead of his teammate, or he could come out just ahead of Envy. And if he's on the softs, he can give them a proper challenge, as Rajesh gets 3 seconds as well. Sort of Pat now pits too. So Darknet has come out behind Envy, although he is on the softs. That could be a fairly easy podium for him. Turbo Chuk, I think, has spun coming out of the final corner just before Sector 2, as Deadshot is past Turbo Chuk. I think he is. No, he's not. He is fighting with him. He's fairly close. I think that was Turbo Chuk anyways. Now, we can see the absolute pace difference between the softs and the mediums, because we can see that Dark Knight is right behind Ink. Ink, who is in P4. Dark Knight using the DRS, flies past Ink. Ink is not making it easy though. And Ink has spun! Ink has had a contact. Dark Knight and Ink has spun. Sorf Pat is too far behind to capitalize on that. So we can see this is in P3, and because he is on those new softs, he will be quite far ahead from Dark Knight, although Dark Knight did pit a lap later compared to this, and he does have a lot more race pace compared to this, so Dark Knight could end up on the podium yet again. Although we can see Karthik Sub is in the lead by over 10 seconds, and unless he makes some sort of very, very big mistake, he is going to comfortably win this race. On board with Rajesh, of course, in the Alfa Romeo, he's turned on his DRS. He's trying to get past Mighty Owl very, very quickly. Mighty Owl gets another 3 seconds. So yeah, by the looks of it, these the last 5 drivers, so Deadshot, Mighty Owl, Rajesh, Vinay and Mr. Rao, they're struggling to keep their car out of the track limits, and they have racked up quite a few penalties themselves. And I believe Starmax is back with us.
They're definitely not having the good time. I mean, a lot of penalties, a lot of unscheduled pit stops. Deadshot was really struggling on the hard tires, spinning here and there. So yeah, definitely not a good time.
Yeah, and definitely not for Mr. Out either. He's a minute and a half behind Vinay himself. So yeah, he's having a very, very bad race, and I believe Starmax is back.
Guess what? I had to go for a sec.
No problem. I will update you on what happened. Ink had a bit of a contact with Dark Knight, a slight wheel banging, and he has spun. Is that he had to concede to Dark Knight in the race in P3, although Dark Knight has closed in a second in the last lap.
How is Dark Knight so far behind Karthik Sub though?
I'm kind of confused myself. Vinay has retired. The safety car! It has completely changed the face of this race, because Karthik Sub and Vinay will be pitting in the race. However, on the other hand, has a very, very good shot of winning here. So has Ink, so has Dark Knight. We can see Karthik Sub, of course, pulling off into the pits. Envy is going to follow him, I'm very, very sure, unless he's deciding to stay out. No, he has decided to pit in the race, could be in the lead of this race.
I think he's too far back to be in the lead of the race. We'll have to see.
Unless he absolutely pushes the delta, it will be close. Karthik Sub has come out ahead, so I think they might cross Envy. Envy is still in the pits. And they have crossed Envy. This and Dark Knight have crossed Envy.
That's definitely going to help.
Envy at all.
That's definitely going to help Karthik Sub, as Karthik Sub as Envy has 2 people to get past before he can even think of overtaking Karthik Sub.
Yep, not to forget, they're on fairly fresh tires themselves, so it's not like they're going to be less of a challenge. With just about a few laps to go here, it can quickly slide past Karthik Sub, even if Karthik Sub makes a mistake on the restart, and essentially anyone in the top 7 right now could win this race. Although that does come down to if they can catch up to the safety car, since we are kind of limited on the laps. So it could go in much earlier than they realistically would have wanted.
Deepak, I think you should move the PC Tier-2021 label a bit higher, because we can't see the laps.
It is lap 28 right now.
Cool.
Lap 26, sorry for that.
26, okay. Bottom half looks the same. Apologies for that. But yeah, Vinay has crashed out, and because of that, the safety car is out. If you're joining in just now, Ink did have contact with Dark Knight, which has caused him to fall back down to P7 after, of course, splitting under the safety car. So we are at the last stretch of this race. Deadshot with 11 seconds. That's quite a lot of penalties.
I have to say, the vibes of this race are quite similar to another IRC race a while back.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can completely agree to it.
We should not delve deeper into that.
Should not. Those are files kept well within IRC itself. If you're there and you know what happened, then you know what happened. But yeah, Deadshot with 11 seconds. He will lose out a lot of positions. That is if Rajesh and Mighty all can stay within the 2 seconds of Deadshot, which I think they will decently be able to be, because Deadshot has made a lot of mistakes throughout this race. But can we quickly go on board to P1? I want to see where Mr. Raut is. I wonder if he's mixed with the pack somewhere. Can we just quickly scroll through it? Oh no, Mr. Raut is nowhere close. Okay. I thought he would be somewhere in the pack, because it's generally what happens is that whenever someone who's already lapped and the safety car comes out, they will either be the leader of the safety car itself, or they'll be somewhere between P2 or P3 or something.
Oh,
like
I
that.
just noticed how far back Mr. Raut is. He's on a completely different lap. I know it's a lap already, but yeah.
He is lapped, so he is over a minute behind just to Mighty Owl. Can we quickly go on to the gap to leader and let's see how far behind he is from the leader? I think it won't show exact time, I don't think.
I think maybe 2 laps down.
He's only a lap down. It's not showing the exact delta. But I guess we can make up that he's at least round 2 or so minutes behind. Means he's going to finish this race, I think, about 1.5 or 2 laps before anyone else does, which is quite a large margin in my opinion. But again, his race was filled with complete unfortune throughout, and you know, the drive-through that we saw in the beginning, and then him just making that mistake, and then of course he had to serve the drive-through as well. So that has.
I think we figured out where he is. He's right in the middle of the pack. He's in between Ink and Deadshot.
Yeah, that is exactly where he is, and he will be shown the blue flags as soon as the safety car goes in.
They should be in this lap. No.
If Rajesh and
Two
Mighty
guys.
can catch up.
Yeah. It's not going to win this lap yet.
So one more lap out.
This is like 22. You will just do the most last minute safety car in these laps.
Yep. That is already 21 having multiple 1-ups on this game. 22, apologies. So, yeah, 22 is just not a finished game so far, although it is decent enough for us to run our leagues on it. And that is why you should tune in on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. IST for our Tier 2 boys, and at 8 p.m. IST for our Tier 1 boys on Sunday, of course, remember. We will be back again at Singapore, and 22 is a completely different game to this game, so a lot could happen in that we cannot sit here and predict.
I'm guessing more front wings donated because more unrest tier cars.
That could definitely be it. What we can predict, on the other hand, though, is who could win this race.
I think
I'm
Dark Knight has performed
placing.
very well in the past few races. I think he has a win coming his way.
Could be that is if Karthik Sub does make a mistake, he can fly past Indra this for the win. If not, Envy is right behind them to take that position as well. Although for now, I'm placing my bets on Envy winning this race.
Envy? Huh,
Yes.
interesting. That's a very, very bold prediction.
He has the race pace to do it. He has cut through the field multiple times, and right now he doesn't even have to cut through much of the field. He just cut
True.
through 2 drivers, and then Karthik Sub's right,
But
there is for him to
you are
take.
forgetting one very important thing. The RS will be turned on from the third lap. The safety car will be once safety car goes in.
That will be
So
the last lap.
that will make overtaking immensely harder.
That could be, but we could see some last lap overtakes as the safety car is going in this lap. Can see one Aston Martin leading the way of the other Aston Martin. Although one of them is going into the pits, the other one hopefully not. You know what? I have taken you guys over the safety car restart so many times. Starmax, why do you take us through this safety car restart?
Alright, so I think you can see Karthik Sub backing up everyone nice and tightly. So we can see everyone viewing for some tire temperature. Let's just hope they don't weave way too much where they start to put a bit too much wear on the tires. So we can see Karthik Sub taking it nice and easy. Let's see when he restarts. I think he has gone. Yep, he has gone. That's a pretty early restart, I'm not gonna lie. Envy already has jump on Dark Knight. And he touched Dark Knight. Oh, that is definitely very, very dangerous right there. He definitely ruined Dark Knight over there.
Mr.
I think-
Raut lost it coming out of the final corner. Yellow flag in sector 1, 2, and 3. Not sure what's going on. Dark Knight did.
What?
But that's Dark Knight's podium chance ruined. Envy has spun out. Envy has spun out.
I'm so confused. Why did Dark Knight slow down so much after Envy gave him a tap?
I think it's because of the bug that's going on right now with this yellow flag in sector 1, 2, and 3. Although there's nothing out in terms of safety cars, I think the game told him to concede all of those positions.
Wait, that's the thing?
Yes, that is a thing. I'll tell you a flashback story after the stream is done, because you were in the race as well.
Okay,
Although coming back to our race now, Dark Knight's last. Envy is in P10. He lost control of his car. Enter this and Saurabh in very, very solid positions for the podium right now. Just about a couple more laps to go. The Dark Knight is still going very, very slowly. Not sure what's happening to him. You can see there's a battle going on between Mighty or Turbochuk as well as Fuzzy Dunlop. Turbochuk is past Fuzzy Dunlop. Mighty Owl is past Fuzzy Dunlop. Red Shot is too far behind to get past Fuzzy Dunlop. And Mighty Owl goes into the back of Turbochuk.
What was Mighty Owl doing? What is he doing?
I have no idea what's
Can we
going on.
check how the Wuchuk's car is? Yeah, Mighty Owl
Front left
fully
wing
ruined the Wuchuk. I think he's definitely gonna stay out. Let's see if he can keep Rajesh behind him, because he has to. He has no choice.
Yeah. Cannot pit Dead Shot. Fuzzy Dunlop makes another mistake and Dead Shot's passed. There's another set of yellow flags in 1, 2, and 3. There's green flag racing again. Yellow flag in
flag
sector 2. Something is going on with Dark Knight because he's causing yellow flags everywhere. Can we quickly have a glance over what's happening with Dark Knight?
Huh.
He was retired from this race! Oh my god! Well, his points I think will count because he did finish 75% of the race. Karthik Sub, on the other hand, will win
Can
this
you go on
race.
Dark Knight to see how Envy retired? Can you go above Dark Knight? I want to see how.
He's retired in the pits. He's retired in the pits.
Pit line. Okay.
I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Is this risk nullified or something? Are the results nullified? Because what has happened in the last 2 laps? I have absolutely lost my mind.
I think it all started with Envy first of all getting a jump on Dark Knight and tapping him, which kind of ruined them both, but I'm not really sure what happened after that. Well, all the
Dark
chaos is
Knight-
going on behind him. Karthik Sub is about to start his final lap.
Yup, Dark Knight, his wing is intact, his whole car is intact, but he is still crawling through the circuit.
I
And
just
you have this 5
noticed.
seconds for crossing the pit lane exit white line.
I think Saropat got a penalty right in the final laps. He has lost his podium unless Ink does a mistake.
Yes, I've just realized that. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Starmax. Sort of Pat would be absolutely in tears right now because his teammate Dark Knight had collision with Envy, and because of that, he's down into P10 and he has some sort of an issue. That's why he's crawling around the circuit right now. And he gets a 3-second time penalty, and Alpine's not going to be on the podium. Ink is using up his DRS to get past Sort of Pat, and I don't think the penalty matters much because Ink is ahead.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought Ink got a penalty as well.
Don't scare us like that. That would
I know.
be
I
absolute
feel that
truth and nail.
Ink is pushing very hard. But will he be worth it though? Because if he makes a mistake, it could end really, really badly.
Would make a mistake somewhere. Dark Knight spins again. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah, I
sure
think-
what's going on with Dark Knight.
I think he's just had enough.
He has definitely had enough. Karthik Sub hasn't had enough though. Neither has Sort of Pat because he's trying his level best to at least stay within that 1 second of Ink for whatever reason there may be. Maybe perhaps he got those 3 seconds unfairly or something. Maybe he has to get a warning or something removed. Because that would mean that he'll be promoted back up into P3 because his penalty gets removed. If the warning does get removed, that is. Although Karthik Sub has no warnings, no penalties, he comes across the line and he wins in Singapore. Going back to Inder Des in P2, a very, very good try from Inder Des as well, and he ends up on the podium in P2, and Ink crosses the line in P3, and finally after so long this race is over.
I told you this was going to be a long one.
Oof,
This
it has been
we have been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
2 hours and 10 minutes. Well, it's not really short, and considering that tier 2 on F122 of course is also somewhat similar in terms of action pack, although I believe we do have a full grid on there. There's going to be even more chaos in tier 22's tier 2. So yeah, that is the race over, and I kid you not, my throat is starting to hurt after 2 hours and how many every minutes we have been commentating for. Well, this is going to help Karthik out a lot because Envy will be getting minimal points here compared to Karthik Sub. So Karthik Sub's definitely taken the lead of this race, and Mighty Owl just drives into the wall. And he's lost his wing. Mighty Owl will be the last person to finish this race, and we'll quickly run through the last finishing order, provisional finishing order before any penalties or whatever that could come after the race, and after that we will bring our drivers in for the podium interviews, and that is officially the race over.
It is 1:44 a.m. at Singapore.
Bit late for you.
It's safe to say I am pretty tired.
Safe to say everyone's tired because it is very late here, 11:14 p.m. in India. So, all the drivers are tired, the commentators are tired, the streamers are tired. Although the action was pretty fun to watch, and whatever happened in the last 2 laps was, it confused us and shocked us because we did not expect that.
Let's just say some things only happen only in Singapore.
Truly, as Karthik Sub, this is the provisional finishing order before any time penalties that may apply afterwards because of the stewards. That's 60 minutes and 44 seconds of a race, and
60
Karthik Sub
minutes.
wins with the fastest lap by over 2 seconds, followed by Inder Des on the podium, and Ink, Sort of Pat, Deadshot, Fuzzy Dunlop, Rajesh, Turbochick, Mighty Owl, Dark Knight, Envy, Mr. Raut, Vinay, Like Mike, Eric Griffin, Satwik, Neon, and Sai Tarun.
For comparison, that is only 15 minutes of a 100% race in Monza.
Yes. So, and that was just a 50% race compared to a 100% race. So, this has gone on for way too long as our drivers are joining the VC for the podium interviews. We'll just waiting on Inder Des to join us if he can. And we'll quickly go on to the podium interviews after that. That was. I'm basically out of words right now because that race started off as something. We had lobby restarts, two of them to be very exact. And then more chaos happened in the third lobby, the second lobby, whatever it may be. And well, the ending was something that me and Starmax did not expect at all. And I don't think either this will be joining us. Never mind, he is in a VC, so I'll quickly drag him in. And then we can get started with the interviews. Okay, so Inder this is here. So Starmax, why don't you take us away with the P3 sitter Inc?
So, hey, Ink, how was
Hello,
the
sir.
race?
Topsy-turvy. It was
How-
actually a strategy battle. Number of we needed to, whoever made the most mistakes suffered a lot. Qualifying wasn't the best of it. I spun in my banker lap, and 1 second. Yeah. I suffered in my bank. Like I spun right in my first lap into the exit. I couldn't do the banker lap, so I only put the one lap. That too, I was not pushing at all. So I was 1 second off Karthik. Realistically speaking, I would have been like 3 tenths from him, 36.5 or something. So not much of a difference because Dark Knight stalled his start.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, we were 1-2. Then we knew like first stint in the softs wouldn't do much. So me and Karthik went on to pit. We went into traffic. Had to climb up the order with that. Front wings flying by. It was very sketchy and dangerous and nervous. I was very nervous for doing that. Envy did a lot of mistakes too. I tried defending him for like 4-5 laps, but he had the superior pace. He was lapping 1 second quicker than me. And Dark Knight, I don't know what happened to him. I think his fuel ran out. And I knew they did a mistake. I did a mistake. Sorry, not me. The Alpines did a mistake of going to softs. I actually, when Dark Knight spun me around, I didn't know he was on softs. I thought he's on medium, so I thought let me hold him up for like few seconds, then then let him go easily. But the good thing is that we saved that once a soft tire set for the end, and it helped out. It got me the podium. Also, I would have been like P6 at best. Because GG's to in the days also made him podium. I think of him. I'm seeing him race from Tier 4 last season to coming to Tier 21, getting the podium. It's it's good to see people improving and achieving good results. So congratulations to him, and well done to Karthik Sab as well. Fastest lap plus race win on on his best track. So that is it.
I mean, it is a pretty dominant drive for him. He basically didn't make any mistakes, as far as I know. Other than that, how tiring was the race? That's my real question.
Yeah, the lobby was glitching a lot. My FPS was dropping from 40s to 80s, varying up and down. So I was very cautious about that too. To be honest, before that, I think the last safety car, no, my FPS dropped back to like 30, 40s all of a sudden. I was like, I think the podium is gone here. But I knew I had a chance when I saw Inder Des and Saurapat on old softs. So I'm very relieved to get the podium and extend the WC's lead from 101 to much more, and we need to calculate that. And I think we'll be overtaking, I think, Envy, but we'll be close. I think Karthik will easily overtake him in the WDC, but I'll have to see mine where I'll stand.
All right. I think it's a good race overall, and especially overall for the team. I think I'll hand over to Simply for the other interviews.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, congratulations, Inc, for that P3.
Thanks, man.
Starmax covered basically everything that I wanted to ask, so that is all I can say. Moving on to our P2 sitter, Inder Des, are you with us?
Sir, I am.
Yes, in this last season you were in tier 4 as Ink mentioned, and you have made a lot of improvements throughout the last season as well as this season. And we saw you slowly climbing up that midfield order throughout this season. From the beginning of the first race from the first lap, we've seen a lot of improvements from you, and finally in Singapore you have ended up on the podium. How do you feel?
I'm feeling very happy, but I have one regret. I think I made a contact with Envy and it resulted in him DNFing. I think that was one of the bad moment, but otherwise the race was just very good for me. I just wanted to stick to the strategy and wanted to extend my stint of soft tires, and I was able to do that because of the safety cars. So yeah, I am very happy today.
Definitely. We did see that the last safety car did help you out, and the restart of the last safety car was slightly chaotic. And as you mentioned, you had a bit of contact
Yeah,
with Envy, so that we'll see if Envy does report you for that or not. I'm not sure what happened there since we
yeah,
weren't on board with you guys, so I have no rights to comment on it. But at the end of the day, for now at least, you are still on the podium. You
yeah.
have done pretty well for yourself. You have driven a very well race, and
Thank you, man.
I just want to know what was going through your mind through the last safety car, because Envy was right behind you. Dark Knight was
Yeah,
ahead of you, who was much faster.
yeah,
Karthik was
yeah.
in the lead of the race. So perhaps did you think that, okay, maybe if any one of these guys could make a mistake, I could even win the race if I had to.
Yeah, I was watching Karthik Sub, but Karthik Sub's pace was, I think, a lot faster. That's why I was not even able to close to him. And Dark Knight also was closing on me, but suddenly I saw that he missed. I think it was his fuel ran up or something like that, and we overtook him, and suddenly he lost me. I think if he would be there, I think he had a podium today also.
Yep, he definitely had the pace for that. But yeah, unfortunate for Dark Knight. Although,
Yeah.
congratulations for your podium. Anything you have to add on to StarMax? I think StarMax is not here. So yeah, just congratulations for your podium
Thanks,
in the
man.
race. And
Thanks a lot.
let's hope that you can achieve the similar results going forward.
Thanks.
Right, moving on to a race winner, then Karthik Sub.
Hello.
All right, very long race for basically everyone, and it would have been slightly shorter for you because you were the first person to cross the line. So essentially, just talk us through all of your race.
Qualifying was actually very good. It went according to plan. The race started out iffy because, the first start was actually quite good, and then we had to restart. There was a lobby restart, and then I was getting more and more tense because I was hoping I don't make more mistakes in the restarts. But we had a safety car on lap 1, and we decided to pit right away. And that was a bit scary because you have to battle through the midfield again, and you never know what's going to happen. And there was Eric Griffin just spawning in and out, and people slowing down, which was very, very, very scary. But after that, after overtaking all of them, I think it was pretty much clean and straightforward. If the last safety car did not happen, it would have been still fine. But the last safety car helped us put on softs and go for it. And on the restart, the safety car restart, I had to put in a quali lap because I saw Envy was right behind me. And I didn't know he had an incident with Indades until much later. So I had to put in a very quick lap then to create a gap so I can keep the lead. But it was very satisfying. I consider this one of my favorite tracks, so I had fun racing. And this is like a tribute to Sebastian, who I'm a big fan of, myself and Ink. So that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, we did see that you had a lot of pace in you because, after the final sets of pit stops before the last safety car, you were ahead of Envy by 10, 11 seconds. And there realistically would have been no way that he could have caught up to you. And we did see a lot of pace from you throughout the race. And of course, you ended up winning the race. That helps you a lot in the championship standings as well, because I think Ink as well, because Envy has scored, I think, only 1 or 2 points. I'm not sure how many points he scored, but he, I think, finished P10 or P11 at the end of the day. And, of course, it's not many points because you guys did both finish on the podium. It's going to help you guys in the WCC as well as the WDC. So you, especially Karthik, you can have like a large margin going into, the last 3 rounds remaining of this season. So what are your thoughts on that? And, what do you think your mentality should be going into that?
I'm still going to keep pushing the same amount. I still remember when I missed the Bahrain race. Right after that, I was talking to Ink saying, okay, I don't know if I'm ever going to catch up. He's like, don't worry, you'll catch up. Just keep getting podiums and wins. Don't worry. And now it feels good, actually, that I have that comfort zone, but I'm not going to take it easy. I'm just going to keep pushing because it just takes one race for NV to catch up.
Definitely, the margins are quite big for now. But yeah, as you said, it doesn't take long for NV to catch up either. So yeah, well, I guess congratulations for your win. It's going to help you guys in terms of WCC as well as WDC. But that's it from our side today at Tier 21. We do apologize again for the delays that happened in the middle and for the stream going on for this long. The race itself was about 60 minutes long, so including safety car and all that, it does happen. But yeah, we do apologize for that. And for anyone who stuck around from the beginning of this race, we really thank you for doing that. Although racing action is definitely not over yet. We do have ACC tomorrow at Spa at 8:30 p.m. IST. So do make sure to join in for that, as Spa is one of the best tracks, I'd say, for racing, especially in ACC as well. So we're going to see our boys go at it in ACC tomorrow at Spa at 8:30 p.m. So do make sure to tune in for that. And of course, we will be back with our F1 games on Sunday, starting off with our Tier 2 boys at 2:30 p.m. IST. They'll, of course, be back at Singapore as well. So do make sure to tune in for that at 2:30 p.m. IST on the Sunday. And of course, if you want to see the fastest boys in India on the F1 game, then do make sure to tune in at 8 p.m. IST on the Sunday, because our Tier 1 boys will be fighting it out on Sunday at 8 p.m. IST again at Singapore, of course. So that is it from me. That is it from Ashra. That is it from Deepak. That is it from all of our drivers. Thanks for tuning in and sticking around till the end. Once again, we do apologize for the delays and for how long the stream went on for. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. Have a great night ahead of you. Bye-bye.